Hey everyone, it's Ryan here with the September Q&A session. Sorry it's a bit later than usual. I was a bit busy with Dragon Con over the weekend, so I needed a bit of time to recover, otherwise I'd be half dead. Yeah, those things take a lot out of you. But anyways, here come the questions. Not as many as there usually are, but hey, it's questions nonetheless, so here we go. First from Jack Critelli. If you could design Nintendo's gaming device, what would it be like? Form, power, games, controller, etc. Well, controller, just make the GameCube, but take out the kind of triggers for the R and L and kind of just regular buttons for R2 and R1, those sorts of things, or ZR and ZL, whatever Nintendo decides to call them. But other than that, just give me the GameCube controller. And as far as the system itself, that PS4. Take off Sony's logo and put Nintendo on it. There you go. That's all I want. Yeah, it's kind of lame and dumb, I know, in a sense, but ultimately, I just want to play my games. I don't want any gimmicks. And that's unfortunately kind of the problem I've been having with the past two systems with Nintendo is that ultimately the power itself, they're right in that the power in and of itself isn't the most important thing. But just as far as competition goes, they need to be at least comparable so they can actually get ports. Otherwise, you're missing a lot on third-party games that other people would get. But the other thing is just that if you're making it difficult to play games for no other reason than trying to be new, you're kind of missing the point of the game. So that's just kind of my feel on the whole hardware subject. But this is before they've shown the NX, so we'll see how it goes. From Rob Lawler, possible Metroid Prime 4 hype. Uh, Metroid's not quite as bad as F-Zero, I'm not holding out much hope for an actual Prime 4. If I feel they're going to do any Metroid Prime stuff for the near future, it's going to be a 2D, super fusion zero mission sort of game for a 3DS or eShop or whatever it may be, just as a simpler game to do than say a Metroid Prime 4, especially since the Japanese headquarters and all the guys there just hate Metroid Prime for whatever reason. uh, from Joma, top 5 Pokemon. Evolution lines count as one. I know you love Eevee and its Evolutions, so yes, Evolutions is number one. Being a kid when Pokemon first came out, it's probably going to be a lot of Gen 1 and 2 stuff, so just forewarning. 2 would probably have to be the Charmander line, just because Charizard and Charizard X, because it's finally a fucking dragon type. Uh, it's weird. I like Raichu a lot, but I hate Pikachu, so I guess that's kind of my number 5 spot. So 3 and 4. Ponder, 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 ponder. It's tough when you're going through over 700 of these things. Let's see. It's hard to actually think about considering it's all just Eevee and Evolutions are my favorites. Trying to think what I actually used in the other games. Again, I'm going back 20 years in memory here, so excuse me a sec. Let's see. I always kind of like Sandshrew and Sandslash. Just because they seem kind of cute, but also tough in a sense. I know they're not the best Pokemon in the world, but still, I just kind of always liked them. And I guess I'd have to say Mewtwo, just because it was that first real big boss of the series, and there was just so much stuff being talked about it during the playground days back then. So yeah, I guess those are it. From Mauricio Cuervo. Hey Ryan, Mauricio Cuervo here. And that Bleach is finally over. What are your thoughts? I remember back in 2014 when Naruto ended, you gave some quick thoughts on Naruto. If you didn't read Bleach, that's alright. Also, if you did, what did you think of the shipping pairs that no one expected or asked for, but was nice? BS, did you like the music? Yes, you've asked that question 5 times. I've seen your CD. I've listened to it. It's good. Thank you. As far as Bleach goes, once you get through the Soul Society arc, it unfortunately just drops off a cliff because the first part's a bit, although a bit Monster of the Week and going through Soul Society are very standard but very well done shonen stuff. So as far as that goes, I enjoyed it. That's kind of what got everyone into the series in the first place. And then we got Hueco Mundo, and that just dragged on forever and ever and ever. And unfortunately, Kubo just clearly was not planning anything because he kept pulling shit right out of his ass. It's like, oh, Ulquiorra is number 4, but we somehow have built him up to be the biggest bad of them all, so let's give him a second form that somehow makes him more powerful, or let's have these guys be killed off screen because we don't care. that sort of stuff. So unfortunately, there's that, and the anime even had it worse because there was just constant filler all over the place. So, I mean, the ending was clearly rushed because the uh, editors at Shonen Jump clearly just told Kuwa to just fucking end it already because it was taking too long. So I enjoyed the last chapter, just kind of as a just end it for now, but just disappointing. Yeah. And we have another very long one from Kenny Barnes. Hi Ryan, when I gave you the recommendations for Zombie Power 2 months ago, I didn't know that Bleach was actually ending for real. Well, now you know. But now that Bleach's final chapter just came out, I'm expecting to just come out with a Bleach guy and Bleach the final act, just to finish the entire anime and lay the series to rest for good. I seriously doubt that's going to happen. While it could be good, unfortunately, Bleach has even worse pacing than Dragon Ball at a lot of points. So I'm not sure how that would be doable, especially since the ending was so horrifically rushed. I don't know how you can make that satisfying. Anyways, when I gave you those recommendations for manga and anime, I didn't actually expect you to read them on the Q&A video. To celebrate this occasion, I got more recommendations for you, so check them out. Suggested manga. Dance Till Tomorrow. I know you dismissed it as porn, but it's totally not. Yeah, I'll look into it, but nothing out the. Let's see. I'm not going to read all of these because some of these I've heard of, but suggested anime Mad Bull 34. Yes, I've seen it, and we all know about what happens in it. It's one of those what the fucks. I've seen Panty and Stocking with Garda Belt. I've actually met Monica Rial and Jamie, forget her name, at Dragon Con this past year, who voiced the titular characters. Voltage Fighter, Gauss Kaiser, the best worst anime from Legendary Man-Child, Masashi Obri. I don't know, have you seen Garzy's Wing? Have you seen Charged Man Ken? Now that it's all said and done, here's my question for this month, starting with another of my patented needlessly convoluted spiels. Sorry, I tend to get out of breath because I don't have good lung capacity. Recently, I've been watching TV lately and getting bummed out that there's no cartoons airing on any of the local stations anymore. Whether it be cartoons that used to air every morning before school, in my case, watching reruns of Buzz Lightyear, Star Command, Wow, You're Young, Liberty Kids, or War on Earth, Carmen San Diego, the afternoon watching Kids, WB, yada yada yada. Basically lamenting, I'm not going to read this entire thing because it kind of goes on for a while, but it's basically lamenting the lack of kind of kids blocks on other channels. So, regardless of the quality of any of these shows that aired during the time, I always enjoyed spending time with watching any of these fine programming blocks, finding at least something to watch on TV. But then streaming services happened and all went downhill from here. Now all the cartoons have been replaced with either 3.5 to 5.5 hours of morning news that starts up at 4:30 a.m. for some bizarre reason. Well, people have to get up for work, and yes, I don't know why they last for so long because there's not as much going on overnight. It's mostly just entertainment. Daytime talk shows in the afternoon, or even worse in the case of Saturday morning's boring, mature nature and magazine shows that nobody gives a flying fuck about. So, yeah, infomercials. Yeah, those are always there. Dead Salt, My Already Salty Wounds, the only resemblance of a programming block dedicated to cartoons that we have nowadays is fucking PBS Kids Sprout, which is the channel for babies. Well, nothing wrong with that. That's what it's supposed to be, so. So, TLDR, do you miss watching cartoons on the major networks as much as I do? No, not really. I mean, we have streaming services for a reason. No one watches TV anymore because it's on their schedule. You have to watch a bunch of ads every 5 minutes, and it's a pain in the ass. And streaming services are just better. I mean, it's not like, say, the Super Nintendo compared to Wii U, where you're ultimately getting the same thing. It's just a slightly different kind of way of doing it. So you can have actual preferences. Streaming services are just better in every way. There's no reason to watch actual network TV anymore. There's just none. As long as you have the internet speed for it, obviously, but if you're watching this, you probably do. Some PS's. PS Way to Die on the very first Goomba in Mario Land 2. Kind of makes you feel bad about relentlessly mocking Johnny for losing to Storm Eagle, doesn't it? No, I'm still going to give him shit for it. It's just a thing we do, really. I mean, it's called the Let's Player's Curse. You kind of always do something stupid because you're recording and that happened to be it. It's funny, I actually, when you open up that video, you can see a different save file on there that is a little bit in. That was actually because I forgot to hit the record button the first time, so Let's Play Curse strikes twice. PPS, I had to send this message to you again because my internet sucks. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so yeah, no problem. I only got the message once, so nothing wrong there. But yeah, that's it for this month. If you guys want to ask a question, just head over to the Patreon, which is linked in the description, and we can go from there. Thanks so much for listening.